It's my money, and I need it now! Shut up.
Everybody drunk.
Today we're talking about different economic issues. Different economic issues. Such as minimum wage and things like taxing the fuck out of the rich.
Okay, so yeah, opening up the conversation with minimum wage.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk about the those people who work at the fast food who flip burgers and eat and take your order and don't spit in your food sometimes. A lot of talk about them. Do they deserve $15 an hour?
Well, right now the Ohio minimum wage is $8.10, if I'm not mistaken. So it's $8.10 an hour.
Well, some places do pay more than minimum wage. Usually,
yes.
It depends on the people and stuff.
I don't like the message the minimum wage sends. It's like, I wish we could pay you less, but they won't allow us to pay you less.
Yeah, that's what most employers want, but the minimum wage was originally stated by JFK, FDR, him, that president. I mean, I could do research right now, basically, so people can actually function and live. Healthy middle class is important for a thriving economy. I mean, if nobody has money to buy anything, then what the fuck?
Well, the American economy is a consumption-based economy.
Yes.
So you want people to have money, and you want people to spend money.
Right.
So if we don't pay people money,
right,
they can't
buy shit.
have money to buy anything.
Spending all their money living.
So
surviving.
Right, I gotta pay all my bills, and then you want me to buy your crap for like the $10.99.
Right.
Just 3 low installments of $10.99, and this could be yours. That's awesome.
A decent meal anywhere is like around $10, so it's like.
I mean, pre-made meal.
Oh yeah, well.
I mean, because if I can just go to the grocery store and get some crap, you know.
I think you bought like $5 worth of like.
Yeah,
30.
20 pounds of potatoes for $5. I was like, yes.
20 pounds, huh? Nice.
3 avocados for $1. Like.
Oh, okay. 3 avocados for $1 is a fucking steal, man.
Well, they were not big avocados, but they were still nice size. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wages, avocados.
Yes. You know, hey, if you make it work for you. But people don't make a lot of money in a lot of places in the living wage, the cost of living.
So how do these motherfuckers get a living wage?
Well, I, for one, am a proponent of doing what we did back in the day when people first started doing the whole strike thing.
Yeah. And
they stood out in front of the store during the strike.
Call the Pinkertons?
Hell no. Call the Pinkertons.
They stood out in front. Isn't that what the people who own the places did?
Yes.
Yes, it was a fight. I mean, in most cases, that would lose a lot of companies a lot of favor if they did that today. Yeah. These companies do a lot of time, spend a lot of time building up brand strength and brand loyalty. So I don't think they would just be like, all right, spray them down. Get them out of here.
No, they would have the cops beat your ass nowadays.
But that's what they did back then, too. What you mean?
Yeah.
But that wouldn't work as easily.
No.
So when somebody comes in to take your job, what you do is beat their ass.
Right. The second they cross that picket line, they get fucked up.
And that's what happened back then, too. People act like this wasn't a thing. But, I mean, it's even more to that. People should just be a united front. The part that kind of blows me about minimum wage is that people act like somebody else getting paid more affects how much they get paid. Like, let's say a lot of nurses say they get paid, and CNAs and stuff say they get paid $15 an hour. So they're like, they can't get paid $15 an hour just for flipping burgers. I had to do this like 3-month training to get this.
Exactly.
Not a nurse, but like a nurse's assistant and stuff. I had to do this 3-month or 6-month training to get this $15 an hour. That ain't fair. I mean, hell, you should be happy if they work at fast food in a fast food restaurant. They are sending you business. Without them, you're not getting as much business.
The more Americans consume terrible food, the more the medical industry will thrive.
But you're mad because somebody else is making money, even if it is what you're making.
Mm-hmm.
What you do it doesn't matter. If everybody is living, then what does it matter that they're making a living?
Yeah,
they're making a living, so now I'm not making a living. That doesn't make sense. You just what the hell does that? And the best part about the $15 an hour thing was is that was for places like New York and LA where the living wage
where the cost of living is very high there.
Yeah, the cost of living is very freaking high. Mm-hmm. So a living wage is different than, let's say, Cleveland. Also, not only to mention the services that most McDonald's around the country provide versus what they provide in New York are completely different. Well, not completely different, but a bit different.
I mean, there's more to it.
Yes, there's more to it. One, McDonald's, I don't know about LA, but I know McDonald's in New York delivers.
Yes. Oh.
They're open almost all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
By New York, I mean New York City.
Yeah.
Cost of living is higher in New York.
Way higher.
Yeah.
Way higher.
For the space that you can see on camera in New York.
The studio apartment in New York is ridiculous.
A cardboard box in New York for $5,000.
Yeah, man, a month.
And the crazy part was that the people who were asking for the $15 an hour wage were the people who live in like LA and New York. It wasn't the people in every single city. And then people in every single city were like, well, they don't deserve that, or they don't this, that, and the other. Deserve? What they deserve matter necessarily. If they're working, they deserve to be able to live.
They're keeping the economy running.
And the best part is a lot of people argue it's a job for kids. Okay, so during school hours.
Right, who works at McDonald's?
In fact, I see.
Your kids take night shift at school?
Well, people are supposed to be in between.
Yeah, in between. It's an in between job thing, but then
not a lot of people who are in between jobs are kids. They're usually taken care of by the government.
They're there in the summer or the.
Yeah, they're just there.
But I mean, what? McDonald's ain't just open during the summer. Who's working there?
I've had another case where somebody was talking about like the in between thing. They're just looking for a job. So in the meantime, you'll get a better job. Yeah. Okay, so study a job market. An economy is based off of supply and demand. So is a job market.
Right.
There's a supply and demand. There's a supply of people who can work the job.
Yep.
And there's a demand for people who can work the job. If there's no demand, then guess what? Then you can't move on to another job.
John Casey brought up a good point in the interview. He was basically saying, if people have to pay people more, they have to hire less people.
You said John Casey, right?
Yeah.
John Casey. Yeah.
He was interviewing a while back. But basically the argument is, okay, if I'm paying someone $5 an hour and I have $10 of revenue stream, I can hire 2 people.
Yeah.
2 people. If they suddenly go to a $10 hour minimum wage, I can only hire 1 person. So what some people are worried about is if we raise wages, then employment will go down, and
okay. On the other end of that, and I don't remember the gentleman's name. He has a TED Talk, and he is a billionaire, a very high billionaire. He like a large amount of money billionaire, and he said that he wants to pay the minimum wage go up to $15 an hour. It would increase how many people we could hire because there would be more people with money, so there would be more people spending money. And with more people spending money, there would be more consumption, so we need to hire more people.
It would feed it. Basically, what he was saying is it would feed itself.
That's the opposing argument.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, except for the fact that there's research that shows that these companies have the money to pay these people.
Yeah, they just hoard it.
Yeah.
They hoard the money. There's nothing. They just don't want to pay themselves less.
Well, they have a fiduciary duty to their investors.
Okay, but the CEO can still pay himself less. Take, for instance, Nintendo.
Nintendo's a private Japanese corporation.
Yes,
they
it
can
is.
do whatever the fuck they want.
Yes, they are. But the board paid themselves less because of the small hit that they took. Mm-hmm. And then the next year they did way better. Mm-hmm. Statistics also show that when you pay your employees more, right, they do better work.
Yes.
So that's going to affect your business.
Or maybe the increased pay attracted higher level employees.
That too. There's the other thing too. How do we deal with the issue of, because like let's put this for example, McDonald's is just a bunch of franchises that are owned by whoever owns them.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with the manager who can't, or the owner who can't?
The owner. Yeah. A lot of owners. Okay, so a lot of owners. The crazy part is first of all, in New York, you probably can't afford it because the amount of foot traffic that's coming into McDonald's.
Everybody goes to McDonald's.
The amount of foot traffic that's coming into McDonald's.
Not so much.
In most other places, not as much. And let's say you're a franchise owner and you only own one McDonald's. You don't make as much as the person
you don't have enough money to pay
30 to 50 McDonald's. You don't have enough money to pay people.
Unless you got a couple people working there.
One of the things is people don't actually understand how McDonald's works.
Yeah.
It's the McDonald's Corporation.
It's volume.
Yeah. But the McDonald's Corporation doesn't own the McDonald's.
Yeah. No.
It basically rents stuff.
Out to,
Let's see. Subway does that. Chipotle does that.
Yeah, franchises. Most franchises
do that.
Yep.
And so, therefore, you can't really. It's not going to work that way. Mm-hmm. But once again, people weren't paying attention to the fact that the people in New York and LA were the ones asking for this.
Exactly. I mean, everybody wants to get paid more, but you got to take into account how your pay at your job affects your ability to live in your.
Well, I mean, what is the cost of living in your own area?
Exactly.
Then the minimum wage should be reflective of that in your state or city.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's how that's ideal. That's how it should be.
Yeah. The whole thing when I was talking about the CEOs and different things like that and how they could lower their own wages and stuff like that to pay out more. Well, the thing is that there is only so much money out in circulation.
Yes, at one time.
Yes, at one time. And if we increase the amount of circulation, then we know we get inflation.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand how inflation works. When you tell people that you should increase minimum wage, people will be like, well, inflation will go through the roof. That's not how inflation works. So that's not the reality of it. The reality of it is that we have a group of people who are hoarding a majority of the money.
1%.
If they put the money back into circulation, the economy would thrive. And we wouldn't have to print more money. But as we print money, these people still hoard the money.
Yes.
And because the money's not going back into circulation, we have to print more money. This devalues the dollar. Mm-hmm. Not increasing how much people get paid.
Right.
Not putting the money into people. Reinvesting the money into people actually increases inflation. That increases the inflation. Them hoarding their money increases inflation. And making more money have to be spread out. Will have to be pumped back into the economy.
Mm-hmm. Like one of the things the Federal Reserve does, when a recession hits, one thing they do is they cut back on the amount of money that a bank has to hold in reserve. Mm-hmm. A reserve for the banks is, okay, there's a run on the bank. Everybody goes to the bank at once, try to get their money. Bank fails. So what they did was they created reserves. So there's a certain amount of money in the bank at any one time. So by tiling back the reserves in the bank during a recession, they increase the money supply by having the banks lend out the money because they have the money to spend now. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that they do.
Yeah, but I mean, that all goes into like different investments, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another way we can get money back into circulation, by the way, which is another thing certain rich people want, is higher taxes on the rich. Mm-hmm. Once again, another guy who I don't remember his name, but they want higher taxes on the rich. And some rich people will be like, well, do you want there to be taxes on capital gains? Do you want there to be taxes on what we already have? And their argument is as well, yeah, you're rich, so you're already rich. What you're trying to do is keep other rich people from getting just as rich as you.
there's different kinds of rich. There's income rich.
Mhm.
There's
Yes.
stock dividends,
Yes.
bonds. You have other earnings when you're mega rich.
Exactly.
You don't put it all into a savings account because that's dumb.
Mhm.
Your money's not working for you when you've
Yeah.
got a big chunk of money. Are you gonna see? My bank account, savings account, had 0.002% earning.
Mhm.
That's Federal Reserve's fault.
I understand what you're saying.
But I think I got like 2 cents last year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I didn't need the cash on hand in case of an emergency, and I had enough cash, I'd make that work for me. I'd have something, earn 1% instead of a
Yeah,
Point
honestly,
zero-
at
zero
at that rate, you might as
2%.
well not have the bank put it on your mattress.
I'm
Right.
curving against inflation. That's the reason why.
Barely. That's not meeting inflation. Not at that rate.
Anyway, people choose where their money is going to work best for them.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody. A lot of people aren't financially illiterate.
No.
As you can tell, I can't remember any of my financial vocabulary while I was talking. I know the words, I just can't. They escape me.
You got most of it in there.
Yeah, but I believe we should tax the hell out of the rich. They have it. You have it and you're not paying. If you're not going to pay people.
Yeah.
My thing is pay people. Pay people a better way. This is the thing. Certain states actually have laws in place where it's like depending on how much money your company makes, that depends on what your minimum wage is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair. Because a mom's and pop store can't pay me $15 an hour.
No.
No.
Not all of them.
If the national minimum wage went to $15 an hour, a whole bunch of stores would be like hell.
Yeah.
You got to be careful though, because with some book magic,
Oh yeah,
you could easily make it look like you don't make very much. You just reinvest it.
I mean, we know, but let's say I worked at Walmart or something. We know they make a certain amount of money. So at that point, there's some people who need to be arrested.
Yeah,
they just reinvested it into another Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then we just reinvest our work time somewhere else. That's how
Which
you do
needs,
that.
oh my God, which needs to happen so bad. But
Yeah, people need to value themselves more and stop working at places that don't give a crap about them. So another economic issue, which is a little bit off the beaten path of this conversation we've had so far, is child support.
Oh yeah,
And that's definitely an economic issue.
Mm-hmm.
Pro child support or anti child support? Why? And blah blah blah.
Children need support.
I can't say I'm
Have you ever seen a
anti-child.
baby in the desert? No, because babies can't live in the
Well,
desert.
I mean, that depends on where you.
Well, here's my thing.
Or
I am pro child
A
support.
baby what?
I'm pro child support. I'm pro child support in the definition of the idea of supporting your child.
Yeah, I can't say I'm
I'm
anti-child.
I'm anti child support in the government child support system.
Yes, it's very flawed.
Yes, it's flawed as hell. And the reality of it is that one, work your damn self. Two, and that could sound a little bit.
No, he's working out.
it's kind of a we can't have nice things situation. Where it's
It is.
There's
Here's
people who really need child support,
But then there's these people who abuse the
and
fuck
then
out
there's
of it.
Well, here's another thing about that. The child support system puts people who are deadbeat on child support in jail. Now, the whole idea is that they're supposed to be paying you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea is you're getting paid, right?
Right.
So let's say I'm not paying you, right? Just follow along. I'm not paying you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't pay you and then you put me in jail, can I pay you from jail?
no.
So what is the point of putting the person who is neglecting to pay in jail?
Well, it's kind of like a lack of we don't have the right means to punish you.
I'd say
Well,
give them a job.
Because you're already trying to
Give them a job.
you're already trying to shake them down for money, so you can't fine them.
Well, at the most, give them a job. Maybe they don't have a job. Maybe they are on and off on jobs.
Well, see, this is the thing. It's usually
I mean, some people just don't pay.
yeah, but I mean, like, see, this is the thing though. They don't really take care of the situation the way it should be handled. Whereas they should be getting their own lawyers involved instead of dealing with the government in the first place. They need to work that deal out in house. You know what I mean? Because if the dude, like, 'cause that's the thing, though, like, not paying your child support is a felony. And if you don't pay it, you go to jail. And then you can't pay the child support. And then when you finally get out of jail, you can't get a job because you have a goddamn felony.
Do you know if child support works like garnished wages? Do they take it out?
There's some people, some places do and some places don't.
Yeah.
Garnishing is when you take it out of the check before you can get it.
The other reason is because I swear, and I could be misspoken, but I swear that they take a percentage of what you pay out as a fee because they're not going to handle your money for free.
No.
So the reality of it is, there's a story that I read. Somebody was paying like $5,000 a month or something like that, or it was a decent amount of money, maybe even higher than that. And what happened was the person was like, no, I'm getting the government involved and blah, blah, blah. So they get the government involved and then they get it reduced to about $500 a month. So the reality of it is that you can just be an adult and handle it yourself. Even if you can even go get lawyers and then have lawyers wrapped up papers and then handle it yourself. Yeah,
y'all can form your own contracts.
I mean, once again, we have to say that people aren't necessarily.
They're not legally minded. They don't.
No, they're not legally minded, but they're also not taught in like any kind of these kinds.
Yeah,
of
they don't
matters.
even think to do this kind of thing.
Pay.
Yeah,
you got to pay somebody.
This level of critical thinking escapes most people in their life. Like they don't ever think. To do this
it is like if you don't have the money, then you don't have the money to get a lawyer.
Of course, yeah. Obviously, because we're dealing with this whole financial situation here. But I was just painting like for some people who can get this done. But even so, they could do it themselves. Because if the nigga's paying you, like just handing you the money, there's no issue.
I would say ultimately people have to understand. You're not even talking about the child support thing anymore. Ultimately about economics in general, people have to understand that you are viewed as a commodity.
Yes. You
have to learn how to market yourself.
Yeah.
You have to learn what you are willing and not willing to do and what is actually worth your time. People need to study economics. This is actually something that should be taught in all schools on a higher level than it is. I think I learned economics in kindergarten, then again in like high school, but at a very minuscule level. Well, outside I took contract law and business law. So people need to actually learn that literacy and that proficiency in these things so that they could actually hold their own and do a little bit better in society. But until we have that, or even people care about that a little bit, we're going to continue to be in the shithole that we're in.
I mean, but like that's the other thing too, because it's not too late. You can go on Google, research this shit for free, or buy yourself a book if you need to do that. If you need that little bit of extra confirmation from somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, library
does it all.
There are always seminars and crap.
I love libraries.
Libraries?
Library pie.
Library pie is real good. Library. Excuse my accent.
Have you ever had an overdue library?
Library. You don't want to be in that overdue library pie.
Yeah, but I mean, just be reasonable in your decisions too, in certain things you do. On the child support thing, people will say this is. I don't know what the hell they would say, victim blaming, some retarded crap. Be mindful of who you fuck. On both parties.
Yeah, there's a lot of preemptive things you can do to keep yourself out of that situation.
Please be mindful of who you have sex with.
Right. For your safety and for your prosperity.
Don't have sex with stupid.
Hell no.
Hell, even if they don't work or whatever, don't have sex with stupid. Have open dialogue. Even if it's a one night stand. Be careful.
A one night, what, never mind.
Who is that? A one night Rex? That's what happened.
You gave it away, nigga.
Kind of like the one night you had with my bitch. What about my bitch you been fucking though? Ain't no news
oh my
on that?
God, close the line.
And what about the economics on that? How much did that cost?
I thought you were sick today.
No, I ain't motherfucking sick. I want y'all to get a good look at this motherfucker though. This is funny. It's funny to you. These ain't jokes. This is the same motherfucker that's been fucking my bitch. And probably your bitch too. And if you had a bitch, he'll be fucking her. You know what I'm saying? So, any news on that? How much did that cost?
Oh
What
my
was
God.
the amount? What was the economics? Did you teach her economics or
Oh my
economics? I want to know what's going on with
Where
that.
was this nigga even
Do
at?
you remember her name?
Just came out of the damn thing.
That's what I want to know. What's up? Where the goddamn camera
This
at?
nigga just fucking materialized.
Hey, can you confess right now? Do you remember her name? Tell the cat. Hey, what's my bitch name that you've been fucking? Because
Okay, well, thanks for joining us at Beer Goggles.
I want to hear more about
like the page, subscribe,
No,
follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
and watch out for this nigga.
I want to hear more about Carl's
Look
Schrodinger's
at
cat bitch,
go
which
go
is
to
kind of
neoascendant.com
No,
or whatever.
man, go
Neo Ascendant is a great artist. Follow us on Black Planet.
This shit's been crazy.
That's how I caught this nigga.
We gonna
On
have
Black
a Tumblr.
Planet. She was liking all your poems. On
Yeah,
Black
follow
Planet.
us on social media.
Our MySpace
And that's
page.
how I knew I'm like, damn, why you
Y'all be on
reciting
that
the same
MySpace all the
shit?
time. I
Oh,
know.
this nigga
And
saying,
give us money.
Yeah, just donate money. We ain't got to
Right.
pay.
Don't donate shit to him because all he gonna use as gas fare to pick up my bitch.
This nigga being belligerent
Because
as fuck right now.
Like our Facebook page.
Just
Give it to your friends. Share our shit.
Just because I'm on
Okay,
a
good night, everybody.
Just because I'm on the bus, you think that's okay to fuck
Drink
my bitch now.
liquor. Oh my God.